Hello there! Today we're going to be discussing the cochlear implant. Here's the sign. Cochlear implant. My name is Rafe. Here's my name sign. Maybe you'll learn a few signs and we'll talk about what it is, the people it affects, and really how it works. So let's get started. So in short, a cochlear implant is an assisted hearing device for deaf people to learn how to hear again or for the first time ever. So this implant is a tiny machine that through brain surgery attaches to your cochlea in your membrane and basically replaces your hearing nerve. So let's say you get the surgery, the brain surgery, and they open your head up, plop that baby in there, close your head and sew it back up to where it was. Now, this device uses memory to help you develop new auditory skills. And it focuses in on the last time you heard anything. It focuses in on that and pulls that memory out to help you learn new auditory and listening skills. So, because the cochlear implant uses memory to help develop these new auditory skills, it is not universal because not all deaf people became deaf. And so they don't have the memory to help the implant do its job. Some people were just born deaf, and so the cochlear implant will not be effective. So what about the people who were born hearing and then became deaf? But it's been so long since they were able to hear, they don't remember what it feels like. Well, it will still work. Even if you were hearing in the womb, you were born and then got sick and became deaf, it will still work. But of course, this technology is brand new, and so the effectiveness will vary. The implant works best the sooner you get it after you have been declared deaf. If you wait a few years and that child becomes 7, 8, or 9, then it has significantly less effectiveness. But hey, don't take that chart to heart. Remember, the results may vary. For example, say you grow up, you're age 20, 30, whatever, and you're deafened later in life, you have all this memory of being able to hear. That's a lot to work on. So the cochlear implant will restore your hearing to almost 100%. So here's a chart that shows absolute best case scenario. You're born hearing, you're deaf into an illness, you get the implant immediately after being declared deaf, and it restores your hearing almost to 100%. You can be a normal, functioning hearing person in society. Okay, so I want to help you improve your deaf awareness. Ready? First, let's say you meet a deaf person. And how do you communicate with them? Let's say they're in line trying to order some food, and the person in the front of the line is deaf. And they're struggling getting their order through to the cashier because they don't understand sign language. They're stuck, there's just a language barrier there. How can you help them? Well, first, you have to ask them for help. Never just go up and order for them. That's really rude. Even if you understand sign, just do not order for them. Just say, hey, do I help? Should I interpret for you? And let them answer. What if you don't know sign? Well, do you have a paper and pencil? Well, go up and offer that to them. And they could accept or deny that. But they'll either take it and say thank you and show it to the cashier, and that helped the situation. You can talk to a deaf person anytime. They're really very friendly people. Even if you know just a little bit of sign, whatever, they love it. You're trying to communicate and gain deaf awareness. Go up and offer to talk to them and learn about their culture. They just love that. You can just walk right up to them, and if you don't know sign, pass notes back and forth. It still is helpful. Now, never make fun of sign language. It's not funny. Never do it. This is just not sign language. It's just silly. What? Ugh. It's not funny. It's insulting. I get insulted. I use ASL as one of my main points of communication, and I'm hearing. It's just silly and stupid. Never do it. Now, I wanted to clear up a few common misconceptions about deaf people. They can drive. Yep, that's right. They can drive. It's not illegal. They can get jobs too. They can be teachers and scientists and pilots. Pretty much whatever hearing people can do, deaf people can do it too. Oftentimes, deaf people are really skilled at lip reading. And so that can get them work at the FBI or police stations, watching videos without sound, and they read the lips and they can understand it and translate that into English for the police and hearing people. Pretty cool, right? Also, another misconception is ASL is not gang signs. No, it is not. I'll show you the two comparisons. Here's gang signs. They look just uncomfortable and weird and they don't make sense. Here's actually British Sign Language. Their alphabet uses two hands. There's different forms of sign language for every single language and every single region. So there's just one more problem with cochlear implants. First off, it's brain surgery and super dangerous, and it's crazy expensive. Even with support, it's around $200,000. Whoa. So, your child is born hearing and becomes deafened due to an illness. That's usually what causes deafness after birth, is an illness. That baby is not old enough to understand the consequences of getting the implant and brain surgery. So is it up to the parent to decide for that child? It's their body, their life. Technically, that parent has no right to make that decision for that child. But the parent is the legal guardian. So if they wait for that kid to grow up to where they understand the consequences of getting brain surgery, then it's too late. Time is running out and the effectiveness is getting less and less. So there's two options here. Your baby is born hearing and becomes deafened due to an illness. So you get the surgery immediately, and that kid grows up learning how to speak and talking and never has to learn sign language, neither do the parents. And that is just a normal functioning hearing person in society. Second option is that baby is born hearing and becomes deafened due to an illness, and you take this opportunity to learn deaf culture. You go and you learn ASL, you take classes with your kid, and you learn how to communicate. That kid grows up learning ASL, going to deaf schools, having deaf friends, and involved in the deaf community and the culture. Those are the options. What would you do? Wow, we're done with that. That was a lot of information. Hope you enjoyed it and learned a few signs along the way. If you're curious about more ASL and cochlear implant facts, watch the movie called Sound and Fury. The link is in the description below. Also, this is my pig. His name is Love Handles. It's because he's got handles and he's chub.